Good morning, everybody. Yes, it is Tuesday. This is Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm, Integrity Roofing and Siding, and the Sabinal Group. We are back once again inside the all-electric Lexus RZ 450E, courtesy of North Park Lexus of San Antonio and North Park Lexus at Dominion. And now it is time to introduce our guest, a familiar face. This is not the first time that we have sat or stood in this proximity together addressing a camera.
I know.
Gloria Madera is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Once upon a time, it was Gloria De Leon when you and I were together doing the news in another life.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
Feels like such a long time ago, but not that much time has passed.
It's been 2 years, a little more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you miss that? And do you miss anything about that life?
I do. I miss bits and pieces of news. I enjoy not waking up at 2:30.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you were a morning reporter and you anchored and everything with our crazy bunch that we had.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty crazy? And
I mean, it was COVID, so it was a wild time anyways. And I was pregnant like the whole time I was there.
I was not pregnant, so that was going to say, I can't relate. I've always said, God bless women, mothers who get pregnant, have young children, and do that morning show shift.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
I
like
didn't last that long.
Well, no, but I mean, and that's not a knock on you in any way. But I'm just saying, for those who have done it over the years, and I get why those who have left, because that's like next level. But your pregnancy and your son is why we're here. And for the most part,
great
to talk. Thank you.
Look
See what I did there?
He's a professional.
So, among other things, former reporter and news anchor, you are a cleft and craniofacial awareness advocate. You're a mother, obviously, of 2 children. You're a wife, and I'm sure your husband will come on here soon. You're an author. We'll show the book in just a little bit. So you keep very, very busy.
I try. I'm a self-proclaimed advocate.
Yes, and you work at one of the hospitals here in town as well.
I do. Many of the hospitals.
Several of the hospitals. That's true. So you are.
Busy.
There's no shortness of things for you to do.
Correct.
Yeah. But quality of life, like work-life balance, everything is good.
Yeah. It's great.
Because you have 2. So Archie is how old now?
3
and a half, and your daughter
1
is 1.
Yes. Yeah. And
but you're still smiling.
We just finished potty training, so I've got a little bit more free time now.
I was going to make a joke about your husband, potty training your husband.
Oh, yeah.
And I say that because Chance is quite literally, is he still doing comedy?
He is.
He is a legit, among other things, and he's military. He's a cool dude, but he's a comedian, which I always found fascinating.
Yeah.
So so you laugh a lot in your house.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But he laughs a lot too. I'm pretty funny.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Indeed. But the topic today is a little more serious because I learned something the other day about the month of July. July is National Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness Month.
Yes.
And so that is a big month for you and your family. Could you explain more about that?
Yeah, so clefts actually are one of the most common birth differences, and I call it a difference instead of a defect because they're not defective, they're just different.
Sure.
And something that I found out through my research of during pregnancy is that 1 in 700 kids in the U.S. are affected by clefts. And I think that's really significant because I was so ignorant to what a cleft is, or I had never met anyone that I know of that was cleft affected. So when I heard that my son was going to be, it was a shock, and I didn't know how to take that because I didn't know anything about it.
That number 1 in 700, that seems a lot smaller than what I would have thought.
Yeah, and worldwide they say, I think, about every 3 minutes a baby is born cleft affected.
So in the time we have been talking, there has been a baby born in the world. You were, 20 weeks pregnant when you found out?
Yes, I was 20 weeks pregnant.
What do you remember about that day? Did you have any sense that that's coming, and how do you and your husband process that news?
So it was during COVID. It was 2020.
Yeah.
So I was in the appointment by myself. So my husband came for the anatomy scan, and then he had to leave for work. But then also, you just couldn't have anybody else with you during appointments. And so I learned of it by myself. So it was, what a time. And I had my face mask.
Yeah.
And so I just remember her telling me, and tears just started welling up in my eyes, because just hearing that anything is wrong with your kid is devastating. And then on top of that, like I said, I had no idea what a cleft was.
Right.
I had only seen, this is how ignorant I was, is that I'd only seen commercials for like other countries, and I thought, oh my God, what did I do?
I've seen those commercials as well. You send $11 a month or whatever and sponsor a child or whatever.
Yeah, or like doctors go overseas to help with those surgeries.
Those
and so I just was like, oh my God, what did I do? And in fact, I was working at the station, obviously, and I called out sick that day because it was like, I need an emotion, like I need a mental day. I cannot do this.
Oh, absolutely.
So then I called my husband as soon as I got into the car, and was explaining it to him, and then I started crying, but he was fine. Like, I mean, he processes a little bit different, so he wasn't emotional. Obviously, he was also at work, and so I think he just didn't want to emotionally get there. And then I had to call one by one all of our parents, and it was just an emotionally draining day. And then I'm Googling like crazy to figure out what it is, before and after pictures. What do they have here in San Antonio for him? Like, just all the things.
Because I was going to ask you then, how soon after, like, you obviously are processing it, not working, take a day off, whatever, but then how soon do you go into, like, okay, mama bear mode, and you're, like, proactive, and you start researching, and you're going to do something?
So that, I don't remember exactly how many days, but I think about that week, I just started looking on social media, and I think I went on Instagram and just looked up #cleft. And I found a mom who was like an advocate for her kid, and very open about their journey.
Yeah.
And so I just started scrolling through all her photos, and it honestly gave me so much more hope, because I could see photos of her kid that was, my son's age now.
Right.
And like, okay, he's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And then she wrote a post about the day she found out, and it was almost like I'd written it myself. Just like all the emotions, like you have to mourn this idea of a perfect pregnancy, a perfect child, of course he's perfect to me, but, just all of those things. So it was a wild time, but social media for the win on that one.
Yes, social media can be amazing sometimes. The good news is there's a happy ending here. He's great. He's a daycare
thriving
right now, living his best life and everything. And if I'm being honest, you look at a picture of him, you don't immediately say, oh my gosh, he was born with a cleft lip or palate. I mean, he looks amazing.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I guess just a nod to the doctors, and I mean, I can't imagine how many procedures or surgeries has he had.
So far, he's had 4 related to his cleft. So he had a cleft lip repair, his cleft palate repair, and then he's had 2 sets of ear tubes. And ear tubes go into kids who are not cleft affected, but they're very common in kids who are cleft affected, just because of the hole in their palate with their nasal ear drainage thing.
So he was born, obviously, because but the idea is to be proactive very early on, because then you can run into like speech issues and just other things that we might take for granted.
Yeah, so I actually met our surgeon while I was still pregnant. I went and met with him, and he kind of gave me the lowdown of, okay, well, this is what we do know, is that he definitely has a cleft lip. We can't tell if he has a cleft palate in the ultrasound picture, but we're just going to assume that he does, and this is kind of what the process is. And then once I gave birth, I think we went into his office like a month after he was born and just started the process. So
got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And so for people who are watching, like, there's no genetic link, or there
can be.
Really?
Yeah, but we have no cleft in our family. Yeah. And he had genetic testing, and nothing pointed to him having a cleft.
Really?
So.
Wow. Okay. We continue on here with my friend Gloria Madera, who is headed to Houston, you said. Is it next week?
Next week.
To speak at?
CleftCon. Hosted by Smile Train.
And so there's literally a thing, and I'm guessing, as the name would suggest, this is like a convention where people like yourself get together, and you're going to speak there. Yeah,
so it'll be other parents, cleft affected kids, so Archie's coming with me for that one, and then adults now who are cleft affected, and just speaking about their experience and really kind of finding community.
When you speak to people, I mean, I don't want to give your whole message away, but what generally do you want people to know or to walk away from when they hear you talk?
That it's going to be okay. I think just the glimmer of hope. I think like Chance and I, my husband and I, like talked about it the day before. So I was induced with Archie. The day before I went to the hospital to be induced, we ate a spot here. I won't name it.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. We went to Olive Garden. Yeah, because they treat you like family. So if you want to sponsor, let us know.
Unlimited breadsticks and salad. Okay.
But anyways, we chatted about it, and we said, man, now I forgot my point because of my stupid Olive Garden joke.
That's okay.
Oh, well, we just kind of talked about, like, we were meant to be his parents, and his heart is good. As far as we know, he's got 10 fingers and toes.
Yeah.
He's got 2 arms and 2 legs, and his brain is good. So, I mean, from there, anything's possible, you know?
You're right. And I guess, we talked about social media and everything is because as great as social media can be, as you know, it can be cruel, and people can be cruel and judgmental when you see somebody that doesn't look, like everybody else. And so, but has he dealt with anything like that, or was there any of that early on?
No, I was actually really nervous to post pictures of him on Facebook, just with our job at the time. I was scared of just how people would react to that. And I don't like negativity. I mean, no one does, but
Right.
I really just didn't entertain negativity, even on my professional platforms.
Yes.
In news. I met them with sarcasm, as I always do. But I was pleasantly surprised. I actually received a lot of messages from people who knew someone who's cleft affected, their kid was, or they were. So it was really eye-opening to see the human side of humanity. So
Restores your faith in humanity.
Yeah.
I've seen you on other TV stations, and you've done other things, and you quite literally, being an advocate, was that just a no-brainer for you to want to speak publicly and put yourself out there?
Yeah, well, I was already doing that with the job.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, if I was given this platform, whatever it is, as minimal as it is,
No.
and I have my son, then, why not?
Yeah.
I'm sure other people are feeling the way that I felt.
Yeah.
And it can be lonely.
Oh, here we go. This is Chance Madera, right on. Oh, he's talking about the car, the double sunroof, optimal for Spurs championship honking. Yes, see, Chance, if I push this button too, if it wasn't sunny outside, we could. Well, that's her husband, by the way. Like I said, he's got jokes. And he's been. I don't know if he used humor in any way throughout this process for you guys, but
Chance?
the way that you guys were able to kind of lean on each other to get through this.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I think attracted us both to each other,
Yes.
is that we can find the funny or the good in any situation.
Does Archie favor you or Chance more in terms of just like personality and?
He is very much like his dad.
Oh boy.
He has my emotional side, but he is very much like his dad. He looks like his dad, but
Okay.
he is a mama's boy.
That's exactly right. I was too. You're from El Paso, right? Originally, and you bounced around different TV stations, and it occurred to me because my daughter's going to Texas Tech in the fall that
right
you
on.
are a Red Raider as well,
Yes.
and you turned out all right. So
Yeah, I turned out great.
So then, okay. Well, that's the other thing too is I find a lot of our TV friends. We Brianna Bars and Henry Ramos and others who went through Texas Tech. Now Ava's not getting into TV. I went off on a tangent there, but nonetheless, it's a good school is what I'm trying to say. So.
Yes. Archie's actually wearing his Texas Tech shirt at daycare today.
Nice.
He wants to go there too.
Very good. You still have family in El Paso, though.
Yes, both of my parents.
When you go back,
And my father-in-law.
that's quite a drive and everything to get over there.
Oh, we don't drive.
No, I was going to say I've driven it a couple of times.
We fly every time. #1 best cleft seller.
Oh, now okay. Well, he's pitching the book, so now seems like an appropriate time.
Okay.
Tell me about you decided to write a book.
Yes.
You got it published and everything. It's available on Amazon right now.
It
If you
is.
want to go after this is done, tell me about the process and why you decided to write a book.
So I wrote this book. It's called Archie the Clefty.
Okay.
Named after my son Archie, who is a Clefty.
Sure.
Real original. But I wrote it for him in a way to empower him to know about who he is and what his journey is.
Right.
Your question about social media can be a cruel place and has he ever experienced anything? There was one day at daycare he came back and told me that his nose was weird. And that broke my heart.
Oh.
Because he was 2 at the time. I'm like, what do you know about your nose being weird? Like, who's told you that?
Right.
But I mean, he's a very confident boy, so
Good.
that does not stop him. But I wanted, because school, he's getting to the school age. He's in school now, in elementary school, and I just wanted him to know why he has a scar.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone was to ask him about it, what he can say. So I wrote Archie the Clefty.
Okay.
Look at my publicist.
Yes, he's
linking the book for us.
He's
Thank
working.
you,
Is he on your payroll or something? I look at these chances. If this is the link, if you want to buy the book after we're done here.
I'll make dinner tonight, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. That's brownie points.
So it's called Archie the Clefty, and it is self-published. I didn't get a publisher to bite on it, but that's okay.
Well, but okay. Let me stop you real quick. Had you ever written or published a book before, and how difficult? Just whatever. Forget the subject matter. Like to self-publish a book.
So Amazon, whatever you feel about it, they actually have a platform called Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, and it's for self-publishers. So you literally upload a PDF of your book,
right,
and you publish, and it's available on Amazon.
And then you can get a hard copy if you want a hard.
It's paperback. This is my special.
That's your special author. Well, you're entitled to a. So you can purchase it on paperback. This is
the one I'm keeping for Archie, because the one that is paperback that we have has been destroyed by both children. So
fair enough.
But yeah, it's a really simple read. If you've read bedtime stories to little kids, you know that the shorter the better.
Sure.
But really, it's just here. I'll flip to it.
Who did the illustrations?
So
there it is, Noor.
Al-Shalabi, and I actually found her on Instagram. She lives in the country Jordan.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is Archie the Clefty. So it just shows him with his cleft as a baby, and kind of what he looks now. I sent her pictures of him, and she did a really phenomenal job. So
that's just crazy to think of the process, like to put this book together, because I didn't know if you had a local illustrator or you did it yourself.
I looked, and I found her, and she's done other books similar, not cleft related, but other like different type books, and so I thought she would be a great fit.
So does Archie fully understand that this is about him, and he's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, he knows this.
When you're the subject of a book.
He's like, that's my book. I'm Archie.
Take that, daycare
I know.
bully. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You have another child. So you have a daughter.
Yes.
When you were going through that process again of the pregnancy and everything, how much of that, your experience with Archie, was in the back of your mind, and was there a chance that maybe you would go through that again with your daughter?
So the likelihood was there, just because we already had one cleft-affected kiddo.
Right.
I was nervous, leading up to that 20-week anatomy scan.
Yeah.
I went by the book of pregnancy, like, don't drink too much caffeine, like, do this, do that. I was taking prenatals before I got pregnant with her, just so that I, could say I did everything. Not that I did it with Archie, but, doing everything I possibly could.
Even more, yeah.
I was really nervous during that 20-week anatomy scan with her, and then when they said that she didn't look cleft affected, I was like, I mean, it would have been okay.
Sure.
Because we knew what to expect.
Right.
But we're just so happy that we didn't have to have another kid go through all of that he's been through.
Yeah.
Because it's tough.
Yeah. No, I cannot imagine. But there is an entire month devoted to what we're talking about. Like we said, July is National Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness Month. So when you say craniofacial, I mean that covers cleft palates and lips and
any other difference of the face.
Yeah, and as you alluded to earlier, I mean it's a lot. It's more common than you might think. When you're hearing this, you said it was 1 in
700.
700, and every 3 minutes, you said
worldwide,
another child is born with
cleft affected. So that could mean cleft lip and or cleft palate.
Yeah, either one,
or both.
But the medical technology is available now, and I'm guessing it's much improved than it was a few decades ago.
And honestly, it's how I got my job.
At the hospital?
Yeah.
Go figure.
Isn't that crazy? I just checked in one day, my coworker's gonna love this. I checked in when he had his cleft palate repaired, and I was like, "Oh, we're at the Chris's Children's Hospital," and the social media now manager messaged me. I was like, "Can we share your story on our social media platforms?" I was like, "Sure." So I did an interview with her and everything, and she and I just hit it off. And then she messaged me and was like, "If you're ever not wanting to wake up at 2:30 in the morning, we have this opening." And I was like, "I'm in."
Isn't it crazy how that happens? Like, when you least expect it, a no pun intended, but a chance encounter, at the hospital and everything. It turned out. And you seem to be in a really nice place right now.
Yeah, and it's also great because I actually get to work with the doctors that work on my son, and so I have that personal relationship, but that professional one too. But I feel an extra sense of empathy when I meet with families of patients there, because obviously there could be so many different things going on with your kid.
Right.
But just that parent to parent, knowing it's hard no matter what your kid has, and just understanding that journey a little bit is helpful, I think.
Fantastic. So Cleft Con is next week, you said, in Houston, right? But locally, there is Cleft Strong, which I know you've participated in before. Their website is Cleft Strong. It's a 5K.
Yes.
So cleftstrong5k.com. And right now, according to their website, they've got an event in October. Hopefully it cools down a little bit more. And you've participated in that before.
Yes, as the MC.
Yeah.
I've never actually ran the 5K.
I wasn't going to ask you what your time was or anything like that, but
I'm there at the start finish line.
Good.
First one there, last one, or
you're
last
not sweating.
one.
You're not sweating either.
But my Chance has done it. He pushes the stroller with Archie, and then now with Archie and Penelope. So he's done the 5K a few times.
Brother sister dynamic really good. The two of them get along and
okay. So Chance and I are both only children. We have stepsisters and step-siblings, but we grew up as only children. And so watching a sibling dynamic has been very interesting because, now they're super little, so it's just snatching and wanting whatever the other one has. Right. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And potty training. I just had a flashback. Goodness gracious. But like
he's good now.
Well,
he's
but
good.
That's what I was going to say. The good
solid.
News is that there's a happy ending here because, I do remember a little bit, when you were at the TV station and at the very early days of all this, my heart it sunk so much for you and Chance, and I tried to follow as much as I could, but I'm just so thrilled that you ended up where you are now and that it all turned out good and everything.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and he's made debuts on TV. Archie has because during that time, if we went out of town, we had to work at home for a little bit, like the quarantine time, right?
Yes.
And then just with his surgeries, I will say at least they let me work from home. So I was broadcasting from our living room and feeding him and on
we
TV.
all did some work from home.
Yes, we
craziness.
did. So
I anchored the news with shorts on.
That was actually the first time I met you.
I think, yes, it was.
Because it was my first week,
that is
and
correct.
Brianna was gone. She was sick,
right.
and so they asked me to fill in, and you called me the day before because we had never met in person.
That's right.
I just want you to know who I am before we hang.
When you see me on TV tomorrow for 5 hours.
And then I was the only one there.
That's
you
right.
and Brad were both home.
I was home. That's exactly right. I remember that day. Boy, you have a better memory than I do now. I was thinking about that. That's exactly right. So, what does Archie like to do for fun other than,
Oh, so we went to the San Antonio Gunslingers
arena
game.
football.
He loved that. I think it was just the cotton candy, popcorn, hot dogs, and lemonade he had.
All the food groups.
But we got to meet all the players after, so it was cool.
That's awesome.
He loves watching monster trucks on TV. He loves wrestling his dad, whether his dad's ready for it or not. He loves reading books and this one in particular.
Well, I was gonna say let's plug it one more time. There you go. Plug it one more time. The link is here, and you can buy this on Amazon right now when you're done. That's super cool. Well, I am super thrilled for you. I guess to wrap things up, if you could appeal directly to people who are watching this, or maybe there's another parent out there or pregnant mom-to-be that's going through what you went through, what would you like them to know?
I would like you to know that you did nothing wrong. It is not your fault. It happens, and you are going to be okay. Your baby's going to be okay. Just be there for them and love on them, and just give them the best life you can.
And if you're in Houston next week, see Gloria at Cleft Con.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm mildly disappointed Chance wasn't here today because I think
I
he
know.
could have done well in the back seat. But next time.
He was hoping.
Is he DJing too?
He does DJ. He's a house DJ, and by house I mean house music, but also at our house.
Okay, I remember. Yes, it was DJing.
We do.
It was comedy.
Yeah.
You guys must have a blast
He's
at night.
into all of
around
that.
here. Oh
We
my
do
gosh.
dance parties at home where he just DJs.
Fantastic.
And then Archie has a little microphone and
I love it.
sings.
I love all of it. Love it. So good to see you again.
You too. Thanks
Give my
for having
best to the
me.
family. Yes,
I will.
I love it. I mean, I always love reuniting with my TV brothers and sisters, but this is even better because I know it's your son's doing well, and
Yeah.
Archie's. Next time we'll have him in here as well. So good stuff.
He loves cars,
Yeah,
so
well.
he would have been pushing every single
That's all
button.
right. That's okay.
Pulling everything.
We'll do it next time.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
All right, there you have another episode of Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm, Integrity Roofing and Siding, and the Sabinal Group. We'll be back again tomorrow with another episode. So until then, be safe. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.